YouTube. It's your guy, not your average trucker, coming to you on Wednesday, August 14th. Thought I'd shoot a video about something that should be extremely obvious, something that I find to be, like common sense, but, you never know. But before I get to that, man, shout out to DK Sparks, LLC. Salute to you and your wife, man. I had a chance to, he's a person that have seen a few of my videos. And I actually met him in person yesterday out in Charlotte. Salute to you and your wife, man. Wishing you, much prosperity with your business. He also gave me a hoodie with his company logo and all that, but it's Charlotte, man. It's 90 degrees outside. I can't really throw a hoodie on, but salute to you. But anyway, I wanted to make a video about something as simple as knowing what it takes to operate your business. Because the major issue that a lot of guys out here having when they booking these loads, obviously I'm talking to people with their own authority, but if you're an owner-op guy leased on, it might apply to you, who knows. But it's a lot of people out here that are taking these bad loads and don't understand how they're actually hurting their self in the freaking long run. Made a video before about who determines freight rates. Ultimately, it really is the carrier, because if every carrier turns down a load, a shipper, a broker, a customer, whoever has no choice but to raise the rate until somebody says yes. But the main thing that hurts a lot of these new guys out here, you don't necessarily have to be new. The main thing that hurts a lot of carriers out here is not really understanding their operational costs, not really planning for the future, not incorporating their business expenses and their home expenses, things of that nature. Because what it is if you really sit down, put pencil to paper, pen to paper, or type in your keypad, notepad on your phone or laptop, however you do your thing. But you really need to sit down. I don't care if you got one truck or if you got 1,000 trucks. You sit down and you determine all of your fixed costs, man. That's for business and personal, right? So if you know that every month, no matter what, you have a truck note. Every month, no matter what, you got a trailer payment. Every month, no matter what, you have insurance. You have your rent or your mortgage or whatever you have to do at your house, your utilities, all your responsibilities. You take that, you total it all up, that gives you the total amount of your fixed, your fixed costs for the month. Plus, you need to do things like a lot extra funds for repairs, extra funds for simple maintenance like tires, PM services, things of that nature. A lot personal budget for a vacation you might be thinking about, or saving extra money for a down payment on a newer truck to expand your fleet, or if you're driving an old truck and you're thinking about maybe upgrading. But so many people out here don't take the time to think about the big picture, because they're focused on today. They're focused on this week. Today, I need a load so I can prevent myself from sitting, and they end up not really doing the math in their head to see if this load is even worth taking based upon what you got to take care of in the future. So if you adding up all of your fixed costs, plus the extra amount you budgeting for maintenance and repairs, the extra amount you budgeting for maybe taking a vacation at some point during the year, or whatever you got going on, you add that up, that gives you the total that you need for that particular month. You divide that by 4, that breaks it down to the total that you need for the week. You take that and you divide it. Some guys is out here doing 5 days a week running, 5 loads. Some dudes is out here running every day. So depending on that, you know, whether you're a daily guy or you just a Monday through Friday guy, you divide that by either 5 or 7, and that gives you the amount that you need to profit for the freaking day, right? Similar to the math I did on the how to, you know, how easy it is to gross $1 million, right? It's, you know, that's all business is, man. Like I tell you all the time, some people are great drivers. They're very professional. You know, they back up without hitting anything. That, you know, they can get into a dock on one try. Or, you know, they do a lot of driving. They're punctual. They're always on time. They're safe. Never been inspected or never had a speeding ticket. And some people are businessmen. Those two things aren't necessarily mutually exclusive. Some people are great drivers, terrible businessmen. Some people are good businessmen and can't drive to save their life. But the important thing is, just like anything in life, you don't have to know a lot of things, but you have to be great at what you do know. And knowledge will always be power. So when you out here and you desperate for a load and you just book a load just because you are scared of sitting still, or some people out here might be in a bad area and they book a load just to pay for fuel to get to a better area, you still need to keep track of what your profit margin needs to be for a given day. So if you already added up all those things I told you to add up, you did all the division you need to do, and you know that, hey, after paying for fuel, and it obviously be talking pre-freaking tax, because you can get even deeper if you know, go ahead and allot how much you're gonna spend for, you know, if the tax, how much you plan on spending for income tax, things of that nature. But you need to come up with this number so that you know, no matter what, after I pay for fuel, or after I pay the fuel and the driver, or if you the driver yourself, I need to have X amount of dollars every day in order for this business to make sense. Because there's a lot of people out here that work their tail off. There's guys out here that might drive the full 11 hours every day, 7 days a week, grinding hard, but at the end of the month, they only got a couple dollars in their pocket. Yeah, all their bills is paid, but they haven't really accomplished nothing. Because what you really have to understand is getting your own authority, or even if, you know, it applies to an owner-operator too, leased on somewhere. The main reason you wanted your own truck, to be your own boss, be in charge of your own destiny, was to improve your quality of life. But if you're working a gazillion hours, barely making ends meet, you have to really sit down and rethink your strategy. Because at the end of the day, there's no point in going out here and getting your own authority, or going out here leasing the truck on with any carrier out here, if when it's all said and done, you're breaking even. No one is in business to break even. You understand? You're in business to grow every day, possibly expand, but more than anything, you're in business to take care of your family and live a comfortable life. Now, if you get in your own authority, your own truck, and leasing on somewhere, but after you make all these payments, pay all these bills, you left with a couple dollars and you're not really satisfied with it, you have to really rethink, what am I doing wrong? Or is my overhead too high? You know, is my truck too expensive? Is this trailer too expensive? You know, you have to really think about these things. But the problem that I see when I talk to a lot of people is, people are just more concerned with the day-to-day. Today, I need a load because I don't want to sit at this truck stop all day. Or today, I need a load because I got to get to this better area that supposedly has, you know, more freight, better paying freight. And at the end of the day, you end up screwing yourself, because you might take a bad load today that will pay for your fuel just so you can get to a better area. You get to that better area and the load you thought you were going to be able to book, maybe it canceled. Or you get to that better area and can't find a load altogether. And so instead of having a load on that second day that will profit you enough to make up for the loss you took on the first day, you end up with another bad load. Next thing you know, you're ending up with a bad week. And guess what that's called? That's called bad business. You understand? And a lot of these things that I think common sense, a lot of these things that I think the average Joe should know in terms of how to run a business, it's not really obvious to some people. Some people are literally going day to day freestyling, you know. And I tell you all the time, when I started my company, I knew nothing about trucking. You know, I was doing this for my cousin, and here we are some 12 years later. You know, we're still in business doing well. But what I knew from day one is the same thing as hustling in the street. It's the same thing as flipping a house. Is I want to profit as much as possible because I have things, you know, I have a goal in mind. You know, I started out with 2 trucks, but I knew I'll eventually, if trucking went well, I want more than 2 trucks. Started out profiting X amount of dollars a week, and I knew that I wanted more than that. And that's what everybody should do. So everything you should think of in terms of when you're calling on these loads or when you're assigned a load from your freaking dispatcher is, how is this one particular load affecting my weekly fixed costs? How is it affecting my potential goals? Is this load putting me in the right direction? Yeah, I know. Sometimes it's just, yo, I had a load canceled and I just need something. And that attitude is what puts you in the hole. You end up in the hole for the day, end up in the hole for the week, end up in the hole for the month. Next thing you know, you're having a bad year. Just because rates seem in flux right now for a lot of people, it doesn't mean that everybody's out here struggling. I'm not struggling. I know a few people that aren't struggling. So it's all in knowing your business model, knowing how to maintain during a tight situation, and more than anything, it's about knowing your freaking worth. Like I said on my last video a couple days ago, you have to know your worth, man. You call and this broker's telling you somebody else has an offer in, and instead of taking the bait and saying, you know, undercutting the previous guy by a couple dollars just to get the load, you got to make sure that that load makes sense for you. If you know that with all your fixed costs, and all the, you know, other responsibilities you have, you know that no matter what, as long as you sit in that truck, you got a profit after fuel, $500 a day. Don't be out here taking the load for $450, dog. Or don't be out here taking the load that you're only gonna profit $100 off because you like, yo, I'm gonna make up for it somewhere else down the line. Because that don't ever happen. Worst thing I tell people all the time is, what happens when you take this cheap load and your truck break down? Nothing worse than that. Nothing worse than you in Florida somewhere and you take some cheap load out of Florida going to Atlanta or North Carolina or whatever. You just took a load for freaking 80 cents a mile and your freaking truck breaks down while you're on that load. You feel like a buster. So you need to have that same mentality when you booking a load every day. It's like, yo, would I be happy if my truck broke down while I'm on this load? You don't want your truck break down under any circumstance, but that's the best way to dumb it down, is it hits you a little harder. If it don't even have to be a breakdown, it could be something as simple as a freaking tire blowout. You took some cheap load, you riding down the street, bow, tire on your tractor or your trailer blow out. You got to call somebody, bring you a tire. Now, you know, you out $600-700. And the load you on was only paying you $500. You're going to feel like a buster no matter what. So always keep that in mind. Day to day, you got to have a goal. Every day you wake up, get out your sleeper. Every day you wake up, come out your house to get in the truck. However, you know, whatever you got going on, you need to have that goal and a quota. Just like these cops out here got quotas. They want to pull over a certain amount of trucks a day, a month, or whatever. You need to have a quota when it comes to profit, man. No matter what, I need to make X amount of dollars today. And don't settle. That's the only way you're going to be able to expand. That's the only way you're going to be able to grow. You got to have some standards. You got to stick to them. It's not going to be easy. Sometimes it's hard. Sometimes you might be on the phone all day looking for a load for tomorrow for your budget, and it may or may not happen. But just don't be out here taking cheap stuff just to keep moving, because like I say all the time, what happens when that truck breaks down, dog? The money you made all these few weeks, is that enough to pay for that freaking repair? Are you going to be able to cover that? Or you just basically driving for the finance company because you just making enough to pay your freaking bills? She got not your average trucker, man. Trucker not your average Gmail. Trucking Not Your Average on freaking Instagram. All y'all be easy. Shout out to the Mets. I don't even like baseball, but I like the colors. That don't even say Mets, but you feel me. Y'all be easy.